Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unleashed, episode 121. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
TFG and Mike.
The infamous...
Yes.
TFG.
That's right. Oh, so everybody in the world has $4.33 now.
Oh, you read that article? The one where the ignorance is abound. The fact that... for those that were living under a rock, they had the Powerball lottery going on this week, and it was up to like 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Some tool said that they could make everyone $4.3 million in the United States if they spread out the wealth.
Yeah.
What they failed to take into consideration is the actual population.
That and the math. Was just...
And I saw this on CNET, and the guy's like, I'm not a mathematician, but that calculates to be $4.33 per person. So, yeah, that's rocket scientists at work. You're future presidents, people. Learn to count, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So
that's just nuts.
Yeah. So we're gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
So what is going on? I know that you get to watch Star Wars finally.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't have the same... Between last year and now, I don't have the same affinity of watching movies multiple times over and over and over again anymore. Like, I can watch a movie like once every 6 months, once every 2 years, something like that, the same movie, but like everybody that... And I wouldn't really... I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not I'm not like Ryan Drost from Star Joe's where... he's going to go see the movie 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10. Like, I'm sorry. The last movie I saw 6 times, actually in the same day, and I've told this story before, you've heard this. I was going through some issues with my ex at the time back in 2002, so I made a day of it at the movie theater and theater hopped, paid for Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man once, theater hopped it 5 more times and spent all day into the middle of the night at the movie theater watching Spider-Man 1. That was when I was 22 years old. I'm now, I'm a little under a month away from becoming 36 years old. I'll watch a movie once and that's fine. The only real reason why I would go back and watch a movie is if I wanted to write a actual review, like to remind myself, last year I had gone to see Mission Impossible Rogue Nation when it was in theaters, and my copy of the score from La La Land Records ended up coming late in the mail, so I had to go back and watch the movie so I could accurately write up the thing. But I'm just not one of these types of people that can go back to a theater and watch the same movie over and over and over again anymore. It's just not in me. And I saw Star Wars now, and I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. I don't have the same... oh my god, it's the best movie ever feeling that everybody else in the fucking world has. I'm sorry. It's a good movie. I don't dislike it. There aren't even parts of it that I dislike.
I would say it's the best movie we've gotten so far this year, but I mean, not like 2016, but 2015. I didn't enjoy any other movie as much as I enjoyed Star Wars for 2015.
If you're talking live action, I can go ahead, and I'm not going to say I agree with it, because I have other movies in 2015 that I liked, but...
Well, animation's completely different category.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not even counting that. I'm saying
Uh,
physical movie where people are in it.
I don't know. I hate to say this. I'm more invested in the Fast and Furious franchise than I
Yeah,
am
well,
Star
that speaks
Wars.
volumes for
Oh,
you. So.
shut up! I'm just saying. It's like when was the last time we had a Star Wars movie? It was what 2005, 2006. It's now 2000.
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those were Lucasfilm. These are actually good.
Oh God, can we talk about the other thing?
What other thing? Where Anakin's voiced under Vader?
No. The stupid dumbass idiot whoever the hell started the damn petition to have Lucas come back.
Yeah, that's not even worth mentioning because
I know.
they're so. These are the same fanboys that complain that Lucas directed the first three,
Yeah.
like the prequels,
Yeah.
and then we're like, oh, burn him at the stake, blah blah blah. He should never direct another one, and then now they're like, he should direct another one, blah blah blah.
I just like my whole argument with the whole thing about that petition is he sold his shit, he got paid. Yes, he is the overall creator of the franchise, and yes, he should have some sort of consultant role, maybe. But I really, really want to draw the line there, or maybe not even that, because it's like he sold his stuff. He had a good run. He had a good deal going. Disney paid him ass loads of money, you know. So it's like, give it up already. Just give it up. Let it go. Oh God, I can't believe I just made a Frozen reference. Oh, holy hell. Can we talk about the other petition news that came up too? Did you see this?
Which one?
I've
seen a lot of petitions this week.
Deadpool.
Oh yeah,
We gotta talk about this. This is so stupid. This is beyond the George Lucas petition stuff is just ignorant.
This one is asinine because people are like, well, what if my kid wants to go see Deadpool? It's like, well, then you probably shouldn't have him go see Deadpool. It's like, for one, and I got in this argument with, well, it wasn't really an argument, it was just a conversation. I say argument lightly. I was talking to Tim Costello, who's been on the show once.
Once or twice, yeah.
He, anyways, he mentioned in a post the other day that he feels like Fox kind of. He said it's sad that Fox is needing to alienate its audience by making this movie. Now, let me get through this before you jump in, because I know
I have.
So, anyways, he says by making this movie rated R. I never was one of those people that saw the need to make an R-rated comic book movie. I like the comic book movies. Are family accessible. Every Marvel Studios film is very family accessible while still being true to the character. I think Deadpool could have accomplished a similar feat, but it bowed to the wishes of the internet. I hope this movie finds its feet, but I think it'll be a missed opportunity. Kids who love Deadpool will not get to see this movie until they're much older. How very sad. I'm often asked if a superhero movie is rated R. Would you see? I can equivocally say no. I'll be skipping this one in the theater. So I was, and then he's got other people agreeing with him on his post that he did on Instagram. So that being said, me and Dan both jumped in on it. Movie Revolt, and
Yes.
I was more or less saying that Deadpool is meant to be rated R.
Yeah.
He is the rawest, like, he breaks the fourth wall. He's supposed to be a joke in and of himself, and it's supposed to be this running gag. Like, so he's supposed to be vulgar. He's supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to be very raw. I mean, this is the guy that can be blown to pieces or have a hole blown through his head and then regenerate, or have his head decapitated and grow back.
Yeah.
So I mean, in that essence, like, I'm totally with this. Same token, I don't think any of these superhero movies out today are family friendly. If you want family friendly, you might as well go watch Batman 66 or watch an animated show, because none of these films, I don't care what you say, none of them are family friendly below the age of 10.
Yeah.
And even then, a lot of these films, the further post Avengers, they've all been way too dark to be below 13 anyway.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, none of these films, and especially when you get into DC, none of those are going to be like, my son's not going to see any of those before like 15 because like I can just tell they're going to be real dark. PG-13 or not.
Yeah.
Because they use these, and Dan and I were kind of agreeing on this, that and this was kind of part of the Twitter conversation about it. He says, Deadpool is a much different character than Marvel Studio films. It's more akin to the Punisher.
Yeah.
Not all movies have to be made for all audiences. Dark Knight is PG-13, but I wouldn't let kids watch it. Marvel Studios tends to, which is great, but it depends on the character and story you're telling. And then he says, as far as the ratings, I tend to have issues with the MPAA anyways. They are more harsh on language than violence, which is odd to me, which I totally agree.
Yeah, we spent, Dan and I spent a whole episode talking about a couple of years ago, I'll give it to you so you can put it in the post. A couple of years ago on Movie Week in Review, we had a special episode called MYR Rating Pending. And the reason why we called it that was because we were talking about the documentary This Film Is Not Yet Rated, which is basically a documentary on the MPAA and how secret it's basically a secret society, and it's it's kind of this whole thing about we're going to rate something over language versus actual pictorial content. So people can go check that out, but it's one of those, like, Deadpool to me, like you just said, Deadpool, Daredevil, Punisher, those three are the adult comic book characters. They're not for children. They're just not. I mean,
you want something for children, more or less, go watch Spider-Man, or, it's...
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Because none of these movies that we're getting or have had are family friendly.
No,
in my opinion.
No, they're not.
None of them.
They're not. None of them. Okay, going back to even Tim Burton, and I know it was a different time in '89 to '92 to '95 to '97 with the original 4 Batman films. I understand that. I know it was a different time in '78 with Superman and then Superman 2, 3, 4, whatever. But even back then, Batman '89 is dark as hell. But back then it was such a different... Back then there was not at least... Obviously you have no internet, okay? Back then, when I was a kid, I don't remember every single thing having to be politically correct or correct for everybody's opinion. The whole point why anyone in the friggin' world has opinions is we all have different ideas of what things should be. And, no one's right, no one's wrong. Opinions can't be wrong, even though, nowadays we'll joke around and say, oh, you like this, so, we're going to take away your geek cred or whatever else, or if you don't like this, I didn't give a crap about Star Wars. I did not. I was waiting for everybody to shut the hell up about The Force Awakens before I actually sought it out to watch it on my own, to form my own opinion about the movie. But it's just one of those things where 35, 36 some odd years ago, it was a different time back then. But now with these, you look at the X-Men, the first X-Men movie. You got Wolverine flipping Cyclops off with his claw. No, these movies are not for children. These movies are for us, the fans. Yes, Bryan Singer is a fan of the comics, and some of the other directors of the films were fans of the comics and stuff like that, but they're also for the mainstream adult audience. Like you just said, if you want something for your children today, put them in front of Ultimate Spider-Man or any of the other Spider-Man animated series or any of the other X-Men animated series or whatever. There's no way, especially the adult, like I said, the adult comic book characters, there's no way any child under the age of 17, or hell, even the 17. I'll say under the age of 18. There's no child under the age of 18 that should be seeing not Daredevil, Deadpool.
Daredevil either.
Yeah, but my point is Deadpool. The whole point of
Deadpool is rated R from the go.
Yeah,
I mean,
we knew that going in. Hell, Reynolds even said that before the MPAA made its decision. He said this is going to be a rated R film. This is going to be a film for comic book adult fans. It's not a kiddified film. It's not like, it's just. I said I don't know when it was. I remember. I think it was on this show. I had said that I had watched RoboCop for the first time in a long time, and I forgot how violent that movie was, and then it was rated R. And that was back in '87 that it originally came out. I think it's '87. I'm not looking at any information. So, but we live, ever since the mid '90s to now, I would say 95 to now, the last 21 years, we've lived in the era of the PG-13 movie because the studios want to get kids in the seats. They want to be able to have...
It's easier on parents to,
right.
If they can fight for that PG-13, so if they can tone down just enough, and it's mostly on the sexuality and the language, there's nothing on the violence,
right.
Because you watch a Michael Bay Transformers movie, they're PG-13, and it's loaded with explosions and things blowing up and people possibly getting hurt, insinuated, and there's not as much language.
Yeah. I mean, it just, we live in an era where I would love to find a list for last year, for 2015, of all the rated R films that came out last year. Just the rated R.
What I would like to see is if things were rated like they were back in the 80s today. So what all of these movies that have come out that are PG, PG-13, and R, what they would have been rated in the late 80s. Because
oh God, are you kidding
when
me?
the 90s hit, they changed tremendously.
Yeah, they did. Well,
and even the early 90s was still like a kind of a, they were playing with it.
Well,
and then the middle 90s, like the late 90s, is when it actually took effect. And so like things started getting really stupid with how they used them.
With the Motion Picture Association of America, when they came up with the PG-13 rating, before that you had G or...
They replaced another rating, though.
Yeah, X. You had, back in the day, you had G, PG, and X, as far as I know. And I'm trying to find some information.
I'm pretty sure there was like a, like NC-17.
Yeah.
14 as well.
Yeah, there's NC-17. But you look at a lot of films that came out in the 80s that were PG, and you watch them now, and you're like, oh my God, this was PG? How is this PG? This should be PG-13, or this should be R, or this should be this, or this should be that. And with the advent of PG-13, it allowed them to get more stuff in their movie for whatever they were really going for.
So this is the breakdown. Apparently people have forgotten what the hell the ratings mean, because this has been the rating since the late 90s. Again, this is what it all came down to. Okay. G, general audiences. All ages admitted, nothing that would offend parents for viewing by children.
Yep.
PG, parental guidance suggested. Some material may not be suitable for children. Parents urged to give parental guidance. May contain some material parents might not like for their young children. PG-13, parents strongly cautioned. So, strongly cautioned doesn't seem to bother anybody,
Yeah.
For, any of these movies that have gotten PG-13, like Batman v Superman and anything else that, is going to be, hellaciously bad in the beatings department, but, we don't swear enough, so it's good. So material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Parents are urged to be cautious. Some material may be inappropriate for pre-teenagers. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what's wrong with America today, and when, stupid-ass parents and kids. R, restricted. under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Contains some adult material. Parents are urged to learn more about the film before taking their young children with them.
Yeah.
So in other words, it says that they're still admitted. It's just, it's be careful. NC-17, which you never see, says adults only. Yeah. No one under 17 under permitted.
Yeah. So scrolling down here and through the history, the ratings used from 68 to 70 were rated G, general audiences, rated M, mature audiences, parental guidance advised, rated R, restricted, admission limited to persons older than 16 unless accompanied by parent or adult guardian, rated X, no one younger than 16 admitted. From M to GP to PG. In 1970, the ages for R and X were raised from 16 to 17, also due to confusion over whether M-rated films were suitable for children. M was renamed to GP for general audiences. Parental guidance suggested. So from, let's see, 70...
Yeah,
so
it's X turned into NC-17.
Right, yeah. So from 72 to 84, we had G, PG, R, and X. And then addition of PG-13, and, we basically have, we had... Basically, just you take the list I just said about G, PG, R, and X. You just add PG-13, and then obviously we just talked about X was replaced by NC-17.
I know this is funny that it's turning into a tirade on the rating system.
Well, it's just
like I'm going. No, I'm not dissing it because I'm taking media stuff,
yeah.
So it's like it's funny to me now. But here's another breakdown. Like violence, depictions of violence are generally restricted to PG and above.
Uh-huh.
So it's not it's prohibited, not prohibited in G-rated films, but if present will be minimal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in everything. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Language. Snippets of language that go beyond polite conversation are permitted in G-rated films, but no stronger words are present. Profanity may be presented in PG-rated films, and harsher sexually derived expletives will occur at least at PG-13 rating. Multiple occurrences will usually incur an R rating. So in other words, language is partially why...
Language is pretty much the reason why films get rated what they get rated.
Pretty much, yeah. The violence is as we noticed, doesn't matter.
Language...
And then substance abuse.
Yeah.
Drug use content is restricted to PG-13 and above. An example of otherwise PG film being assigned to a PG-13 rating for a drug reference, it says contain some mild profanity and whatnot, but it's still drugs can push it. Nudity is restricted to PG and above, so you can be partially nude in a PG film. So people bitching that Deadpool needs to be PG-13 are delusional.
Yeah.
They need to check the rating system and figure out exactly what this stuff means before they sit there and throw a hissy fit, because if they really wanted to restrict people from actually seeing it, they would have put it NC-17.
Well, see, here's the thing, okay?
And to me, I know they've done these trailers, with the PG version for TV, which is fine and dandy, but I think that the material is funnier when it's in its rated R content. Like the one where, at the end where he's like, I'm extremely turned on right now.
Yeah.
It's not as funny as I'm touching myself tonight. I'm sorry, there's not. Yeah. It's not funnier. Yeah. It's those kind of substitutions. Like I don't believe that this film needs to be. And I think if somebody's designed it to be rated R, it needs to be rated R. We shouldn't have to make filmmakers bow to the will of the internet because they've got a hair up their ass or they haven't done the research to figure out what exactly these things mean. Instead, you're getting people that are half-cocked, shooting off their mouth, not doing any research, and then they're like, well, I'm offended because I'm offended.
Yeah. I mean, I know I make a lot of generalization comments about certain things, or if I don't like something, I just say that I don't like it. I don't give a specific reason why, but it's just one of those things where with this movie stuff, it's like, oh my God, get over yourselves. This is not for your children. This is for you. This is for the person. This is for the 40 or 50.
This isn't your children's superhero.
Yeah, this ain't that kind of movie, folks. They just need to apply the Kingsman logic. This ain't that kind of movie.
Yeah, it's not James Bond.
Yeah. And don't even get me started.
I know.
Don't get me started on that.
So anyways,
Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @alteredgeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show. Since we're on the tirade of people trying to impose their will upon Hollywood, this one I actually kind of get behind. Have you seen, and this is another thing that's been going around, the whole Star Wars thing with them wanting to do a Han Solo flick. It didn't work for young Indiana Jones. I don't think it's going to work here either. But I'm making that comment on purpose. Yeah. But they've got a short list of who they'd like to play Han Solo.
I saw something.
And Forbes even said a young Han Solo movie is the worst Star Wars idea of all time. And then they've got like this list, and one of them's the guy that played Mr. Fantastic in Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick.
Oh, you mean the reboot? Oh my God! No.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of other guys. Like there's a younger guy from one of the like Divergent movies, and then there's like a bunch of other people. None of them embody this look and charisma that Harrison Ford has to play this character successfully. However, I've seen this floating around a couple sites. The short list sucks, but
well,
they've even got the one kid that was in the Transformers 4. And James Franco's brother, and that's my this. So this list it's got the guy that was in. I'm trying to see what this movie was called. It was started with A. God dang it.
Okay, so here's my.
Well, I'm discovering this. You go ahead.
Here's my thing. Okay, with the Han Solo prequel film. I don't. Okay, supposedly, if this happens, it's going to take place 30 years before, or 5 or 10 years before A New Hope, or whatever it is.
It's supposed to be 10 years before. A New Hope.
It's supposed to be 10 years before A New Hope. All right, that was back in his smuggling days. What I want is
Kessel Run.
No. 14 parsecs. It was 12. I know. But
he was episode 7.
Yeah, he was. But him and Chewie. Oh God, poor Chewie.
Let me see that. I like that.
What I want from the Han Solo movie is, I want it to be a buddy cop movie with him and Lando, because I want to see him, and I want to see the characterization of why he and Lando eventually broke up, and then Lando went to Cloud City. So that's really what I want. And I was thinking about this before we started recording, after I've seen The Force Awakens. If Poe had stayed dead, if what Finn assumed, that Poe was dead from the crash, if he was actually dead, that actor, the actor that, I don't know the guy's name, I didn't even pay any attention to who the hell he is. The guy that played Poe Dameron could have perfectly played a young Han Solo.
I could have seen that if he hadn't been cast in episode 7.
Well, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
So, have you seen Age of Adeline?
Age of what?
It's Blake Lively movie.
No.
I watched a lot of movies this year. This is one of them. She gets in a car accident and something hit by lightning, and it jump starts something when she drowns in the water. So essentially, she doesn't age and lives forever. which is why the movie is called Age of Adeline. So, anyways, they have this character, this actor named Anthony Ingruber, who actually played in Harrison Ford's in this movie. He played the young version of Harrison Ford's character in this movie.
Okay.
And manages to very convincingly play a young Harrison Ford.
Okay.
I think I have it in the show notes somewhere. Anyways, it's this. I've seen like a lot of the stuff with this guy in this page, and he has like they did like screenshots of young Han Solo, like when Harrison Ford was younger and played him the first time,
right? Yeah.
And then compared him to this guy,
yeah.
And he hits the facial features, the look in the eyes, like the every. It's really, really funny how how well this comes across.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would get behind that if they got this guy to play him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I liked Force Awakens. I was a little disappointed with the ending, though.
Oh, I was too. I wish that for one the movie would have lasted longer,
well,
and then two, I wish that
I think it was enough time to tell the story of that movie. I just wanted one word, one line, one something out of Luke. I'm like,
where's the hand?
Oh.
You should have said that. Wasn't there a hand that came with that? That would have been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that movie was really good. Anyways, since we're on that Star Wars snowboat, I kind of jumping in the same vein because they're gonna have Lando in Episode 8 now.
Yeah.
If it's briefly.
You think he's Poe's dad? Not Poe. You think he's Finn's dad?
I think it would be interesting, but I don't think so. I think he's going to show up because he's going to be offended that Solo got killed.
Yeah.
And then, sorry if I spoiled that for anybody. But, if you didn't see that coming, there was a video game that came out 5 years ago that clearly shows a guy with like a tri-blade lightsaber stabbing him through the chest.
Jesus. And
it was predicted by a game 5 years ago,
yeah.
Which is the funniest thing in the world to me. That
I still don't get the tri-blade. I still.
It's because it's a raw crystal that's cracked, and it needs to it needs two exhaust ports off the side in order to vent it. Otherwise, it would explode because it's an unstable crystal.
And the other thing is about the movie that I kind of wish didn't happen. I wish we never saw the kid's face. And I know a lot of people, and I know I said, was it last week I said that I read somewhere that someone compared Episode 7 to Episode 4. In Episode 4, you never saw Darth Vader take off his helmet whatsoever. So I kind of wish that their son never took off.
Well, there's a benefit to this. And kind of jumping into that a little bit, even though he was an emo little whiny brat, basically like Anakin Skywalker, in Episode 2 and 3, what happens, I believe, is because he's been so infatuated with Vader, and Snoke's infatuated with Vader and everything else. I think what's going to happen now is we're going to end up with the point that he's going to be with a breathing apparatus, and he's going to have robotic parts on him now because, like Vader, because of how badly he got thrashed by Rey.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that he's going to end up in that same boat, and so he's going to be able to truly get rid of his emotions.
Yeah.
By becoming partially synthetic, like Vader.
Yeah.
And his grandfather. So I think that it's going to be like one of those full circle type things.
Yeah. The other thing that I like the fact that the stormtroopers are no longer just a clone army, that they're actual people, just like the rebel pilots are actual people.
They're raised from birth.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Finn is no Jedi. Finn is no lightsaber.
Well,
You know,
what they're saying
I
is
understand.
the First Order is trained in the way of
I understand.
swordsmanship.
Yeah, well, he sucked in that lightsaber battle. I mean,
He was supposed to. He wasn't supposed to have like the First Order people don't have force powers. They just know how to wield a lightsaber,
Yeah.
just like the
yeah, but even if you train in anything, whether it's lightsaber, whether it's fencing, whatever, you train long enough, you get good enough that you look good doing it. The dude looked like crap in that
well,
battle.
you also have to realize that he's going to get better with the next film. But this film, he's supposed to be basically what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to actually, and this is why it's supposed to be really weird, manage the sanitation department
Yeah.
of the
Of the ship.
Star Killer,
Yeah.
which is why he doesn't actually know what the hell he's talking about anything. So he's actually a useless player in the game at this point, but he's comic relief. The next film, he's supposed to be ramping up a lot, so I'm guessing he's going to get some training after he gets healed.
Yeah. I don't know. What I do absolutely love about the movie though is the the Falcon. Oh God, the Falcon. They played that so well. I wasn't sure. Like, I mean, we all saw the trailers. We all saw the Falcon, and I naturally assumed it was Han flying the Falcon on the planet and stuff like that at first. Didn't really.
I love that it doesn't take damage.
Yeah. Well, it kind of does. He did say that the cannon was fixed and she needed to move them into the right position, but wow, that sounds so wrong. But I love how the Falcon gets introduced. I just absolutely love that. That was so awesome.
Oh, that bucket of bolts hasn't moved in ages.
I love the thing. Well, what about this? Boom. Let's go. We can make garbage work.
And I like when Han gets on there.
Oh, we're home, Chewie. We're home.
And then he's like, "Where did you find it?" That was on Jakku. That junk planet?
I was hoping Retgar would show up. I know, obviously, it's two different universes, but now that you mentioned the planet of junk, I'm like, yeah, we really needed Retgar in Star Wars.
They're like, "What happened to the crew?" We used to have a bigger crew.
I do like the homage about the chess game, though. That was kind of cool. And Chewie just kind of, because he's injured at this point, and he's, as soon as it comes on, he kind of smiles and it's like, oh. It was hilarious. So I did like The Force Awakens. What else?
Well, they're going to have... I think that if they're going to go the Han Solo young route, they should just have him in Rebels.
Yeah.
Because Lando's even in that,
Yeah.
and Leia's in it now. So it would actually be a better catalyst to do this, including getting rid of all these BS, like even the Rogue One would be kind of unnecessary if you had it in Rebels.
Yeah.
But just put my 2 cents there.
Yeah.
So anything you want to bring up before we jump into something else?
Let's see. I have been... I don't know. It's been a while since I really wanted to watch classic cartoons, because I'm sure people are sick of me saying this. I essentially had to cut the cord when I moved to my new apartment because of where the cable stuff is located, and they don't allow you to run wires and whatever else. Anyway, so I'm basically watching stuff on Netflix and Hulu and whatever else. Well, I found a site, and I'm not going to say what the site is because I don't want the site being taken down.
It's got cartoons.
Yeah, it's got all cartoons you can ever imagine on it. So I've been watching... I watched the first 4.5 episodes of Darkwing Duck. I watched the first 5 episodes of 87 TMNT. I watched all of season 1 of Turtles 2003. I've just been having fun kind of rewatching cartoons that I might have missed. Because when the 2003 Turtles cartoon came out, I was like, what is this? What are they doing? Where's Rob Paulson? Where's Cam Clark? Where's Barry Gordon? Where's Peter Renaday? Where's all the I don't mean this to insult the 2003 cast because they're all very good. At the time, I was like, "Where's all the good voice actors?" And that was back in '03, and it's like, okay. So I'm going back to that, and I'm watching that, and its series is damn good. We're actually going to do an episode of Tooncast Beyond on it here soon. So I've been doing that. Getting the getting the pull bag going again with new stuff for that this year. Yeah, I don't know. What else you got?
Well, kind of was having fun with some stuff now. We got a new cabinet in our living room.
Mm-hmm.
We had to haul it from another city over. So we bought it for a couple $100. Right. It was worth it. It's a 3-piece set, and 2 of them are staying in the upstairs living room. The other one is going in our upstairs bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is we're gonna need help to get it up there because that sucker's huge and it's heavy. So yeah, that's gonna be a hellacious problem there.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, also going to we get to bring the old curio cabinet downstairs into the office. So I'm going to have my own kind of my own display case to show stuff off.
Right.
Which will be nice because I have some toys that I'd like to put in there. I just don't have any. I don't have any room presently, and so it's down here. I just have to wait until we get more of the office put together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure when we're going to actually get the office together because we're in the process of designing and building a desk.
Yeah,
and we got to figure out a way of doing this cost effectively, and that's an entirely different problem.
So you essentially want something similar to what I've had for the last, I don't know, 6.5, 7 years.
Such as?
Well, you know what my desk looks like. It's 6 foot by 9 foot. I have my computer on one half, and on the rest of the desk, I have so much room I don't even know what to do with it.
Well, what we're actually planning on doing with this is there's. Where the heck did I put my measurements for? That's good.
Okay, Tim the Tool Man.
No, like I.
See, Tim the Tool Man, folks. There you go. I am so not Al Borland, even though I have the beard to pull it off.
So I did a schematic of the room, like kind of drawing it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly how big this room is, but anyways, we're gonna have it on the opposite, like the wall that it's on right now. There's like a ledge that overhangs, which is the only reason I can display stuff presently. But I can't really see it because the way the desk is set up. I do have all my stuff surrounding the entire back wall, which is nice. But what the thing is that we're trying to accomplish here is we want to have one collective desk instead of 2 desks that don't really fit. They're not even the same height, or the same like thickness or anything. So what we want to do is have one that goes the entire span of a wall and almost the entire span of another wall. So it's going to be a giant L desk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to make the length of it on just the one wall 116 inches.
Oh.
And then the other wall it's going to be 64 inches. And I'm trying to get it like 32 inches high, which is the only way that I'm going to be able to push in my chairs
okay.
underneath the desk.
Yeah.
because the current desks I have, because, well, actually I think the current ones are like 30, but they have the keyboard drop drawer that's on them, which is nice because I don't want to have to see the stupid thing when I got it, turned off. And I got to make it like 28 inches deep. So the problem I'm running into is not getting the boards that I need. It's getting the cabinets for underneath the boards.
Yeah.
And I figure we're going to need at least 3, but it's trying to do it cheaply. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to have sliding drawers and these things so that we can put everything away. That's why I'm having an issue at the moment.
Yeah. This one that I have, it would have ended up costing $1,000 if I got the extras with it, but at the time, back in 2008 or so, 2008, 2009 or so, when my mom got this for me, it was a $700 desk. It's a cherry oak kind of finish, and it's essentially all open underneath, and there's a couple of little sections where things fit in and whatever else, but it's essentially just a 6 foot by 9 foot long ass desk. I'm pretty sure I've shown you pictures of the thing. You've seen this before, but it basically had, because I was so sick of all those Walmart, Target, Kmart, little mini computer desk things where the computer can fit into one section of it and you can just close. I was just so sick of all that. I wanted something big enough to where I could have enough room to just sit here, spread my stuff out, and also enough room if I wanted to display anything, because way back then I was still into toy collecting, which, as everyone listened to last week's episode, I'm not so much anymore. But yeah, I mean, this thing is 6 foot by 9 foot. It's got more than enough room for what I use it for, and I just absolutely love it. And because it cost us at the time $700, the only way we'll ever get rid of this is if I absolutely have to. It's just one of those awesome desks. It takes up one whole section of my 600 square foot apartment in my living room. It takes up almost one whole wall, and it's one of the L's. So yeah, just absolutely. If I had gotten the extras, it would have had like a top part that sat on top of the actual desk with cabinets and everything. I didn't want that. I didn't want to deal with all that. But yeah, no, I mean, building one is going to be amazing. It's going to look great after you guys are done with it.
Yeah, it's like I said, the problem is finding the under part that is going to be profitable. Yeah, I'm not sure how that stinking thing's going to come out. We got to get enough. I got to find cabinets, more or less. That's the next step. Once we find cabinets, then I can go from there.
Or you could just buy the wood and build your own cabinets.
I would, but I'm not very handy inclined.
What about the rest of the family?
I got one brother that is. He lives locally, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the one that helped me get the other furniture back to the house. But I'm not really sure yet. I would prefer just to get a cabinets already pre-put together. So yeah, that's more or less what we're running into right now. But anyways, as far as the cabinet's concerned, I already have a bunch of stuff planned of what I'm gonna put in it. So, yeah, there's that part. So in my screenwriting class, they're making us pick 3 articles that we could write a story around that are in the news. My goal, and this is very stretched. This semester we have to analyze a couple movies and TV shows, break down the scripts and whatnot. We also have to write different scenario scenes, like a seduction scene, a gift scene, an action scene, a dinner scene, that kind of stuff. my goal this semester is to tie everything into my novel.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to try and purposely write various aspects, because we have to create characters for a lot of this stuff and create character bios and have to create like plot lines and create all this stuff. And each assignment's different.
Uh-huh.
We have to create like a short TV pilot, and we got to create a short film.
Right.
So that requires possibly writing like 60 pages worth of crap.
Right.
In script form. So, I mean, I can fill that up. It's just spacing mostly. It's going to help me in the essence of writing the actual book, because I'll have a lot of this pre-planned out during the class.
Right.
So it'll be kind of hand in hand helping me either way. But if I could write a lot of this during the class and get credit for it and have all the same characters and all the same plots, it would be killing two birds with one stone, and it would be actually really hilarious to hand him back all the same stuff later in the semester.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
So that's my goal. And with the 3 news articles, I'm going to purposely tie some of that in, because I'm lacking. Like, I have the characters, I have somewhat of the plot, but I don't have like the major motivation for some of the characters to actually get their butts in gear, more or less.
Right.
Unless a villain kind of jumps in, but I got to have motivation for them as well. So the only article I have picked out so far is the Flint, Michigan water issue.
Oh, no.
Where, everybody's getting lead poisoning or whatever.
Oh,
because they're drinking water, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to change I'm going to doctor it. I'm going to change, it's not going to be lead or in the water. It's going to be a chemical in the water of some kind. But
Oh, God. All I can think of is, and I know this is going to be bad, all I can think of is the Powerpuff Girls. It's Chemical X.
That's almost as bad as unobtainium. Which I will take that to my grave of hating. But yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna probably use the previous things about the the oil rigs that are blowing off spare gas, like burning up our atmosphere and stuff. So it'll all come into play into my novel. All of these things are helping me, and it's funny how this is gonna play out.
Yeah, sounds like it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yep, I've come to the point now that I've had all the superhero characters created and all the villains created, and I've got them in their costumes. Yeah. I've been going back now, and because I'm using that HeroMachine.com to create my characters, I'm reverse engineering the characters now to create their non-superhero form. Like their civilian.
Right.
Aesthetic, because I was trying to recreate them from scratch and create their civilian aesthetic, but some of them kind of require the same like nose piece or colorations depending on what I chose when I made the original character. So luckily it lets you save all of the code to re-import them later, and I was smart enough to save them all. So I've been doing that, and then going back through and reverse engineering them and trying to pick out what they wear and like how they look and any deformities and stuff or damage, whatever. So it's been fun. I also have one character that I've pre-engineered to survive through a multi-generational gap of heroes.
Right.
Which is based off of someone that lived in my house.
Oh boy.
It's my wife.
Yeah.
She's the only survivor character.
God.
And I named 2 characters after my kids, and I named one after me. So take that. Except I use my middle name for my
character name, yeah.
And my wife's character. For the kids, I use their first names.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm having fun with that, if you can't tell.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be awesome.
I just have to get some more written.
Yep.
But I think this class will actually help me do that, because I can write papers and I can write reviews, but writing a story I've always had an issue with. So this will actually teach me how to properly write a story.
Yeah, my problem with writing story wise, like actual prose stories, is I'll take I'll write a first chapter. Say the first chapter is 16 pages or 17 pages, whatever. I'll start it off and I'll have the characters be a certain way, and then by page 15, one of them will be doing something completely different with no explanation. I have no, I just can't do the long form, great American novel kind of thing.
See, and I might actually try and write some of these in shorter form and then kind of expand upon it later.
Yeah.
And then do little chunks and then piece it all together. But yeah, never know. So with the Star Wars movie coming out, I've realized, and I realized this when Tron Legacy came out a couple of years ago, but
Yeah.
I have this geeky obsession that when nostalgia hits me,
Uh-huh.
I really get this hankering to obtain anything that's associated with the property.
Oh boy, here we go.
Only this time my hankering was for something not of the same property.
It's gonna go. It always comes back to Transformers. We all know this.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
So what-
I was looking for the old man Luke from
Oh.
From Star Wars to begin with,
Yeah.
but there is no figure of it yet.
No.
There is old man Han Solo, which I probably will get at some point. But I saw Combiner Wars Megatron.
Yeah.
I don't know what sparked it. I think I saw Combiner Wars like Armada Megatron, and then I remembered the regular one was out.
Right.
And I forgot that I had seen these at BotCon. Or not, yeah, at BotCon. I forgot which one I went to this year. Or this
Last year.
It's all messed up in my mind.
You want to know the funny thing? Okay, so and I'm sorry to cut you off here. BotCon is here in Louisville. I think it's the 7th to the 10th of April. I may or may not actually be here at that time. It's going to be severely ironic for me not to be in the same city that I live in, that BotCon takes place in. I might actually be out in California for a couple of weeks.
Last time it was in Kentucky, they had the Beast Wars.
Yeah, it was.
This time when it's in Kentucky, they're having the Beast Wars.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, we are a beastly state, I guess.
Well, that's why it's got David Kay, Alec Willows, and
20th anniversary.
Scott McNeil and Rhinox.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got the Combiner Wars Megatron.
Yes, G1
Megatron.
and yes, and let me preface this with I don't normally watch toy reviews or toy transformations or anything. Like I've watched them out of curiosity in the past, but never actually watched one to inform me on something that I was looking at. I watched one from Bolt Matrix, I watched one from Piag, and I watched one from Optibotimus.
Yeah.
Each one had a different review on the figure.
Yeah.
Bolt Matrix had like resounding, like no complaints, like awesome. And he had it on his little, spinning disc thing on the background.
Mm-hmm.
Piag was more in the middle of the ground of it. And he was the only one that had two different styled upgrade kits.
Right.
And I'll get into that in a minute. And then Optibotimus,
Severely negative.
he wasn't really negative. He was saying it's a good one for what it is.
Yeah.
He said it's as close to a masterpiece as we're going to get right now.
Yeah.
In other words, discounting the fact that there was a masterpiece years ago.
Yeah.
Because it really wasn't that great of a masterpiece. Because it really didn't look like Megatron. This one looks like G1 Megatron.
Yeah.
Like, other than the fact that it's got tank treads on the back, and the legs are a little like the rivet joints that are on the legs don't allow you to do like it goes one extreme to the other. You're either like severely like Megatron's like straight as a pencil, or he's like a pair of scissors that you pop the legs, pop it open. Like there's no like slight stance. It's either one extreme to the other because the way the rivet joints work in the legs, which is kind of unfortunate. Which they all mention that. But the legs even are kind of crotchety. I don't know. The legs aren't really that accurate because it folds into the tank. And they're not really that cool, honestly. So it makes him a little top heavy because the legs are kind of shitty.
Yeah.
That being said, one of the nicer things is when you flip up his chest plate, which goes into the tank, he has the spark chamber from Beast Wars.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't open, but I mean, like, it's there. Like, you can see where Beast Wars Megatron stole the spark from.
Right.
So it's a nice little detail. Like, the detail on the figure is great.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Even though it's all plastic, it's great. Some of the things that kind of peeve me on it, though, the 2 different upgrade kits would cover. There's 2 different upgrade kits, and if you want more info, just hit me up in the comments, and I'll drop it in there. But Piag is the only one that did the review of the upgrade kits. There's one where it allows you to add an extension to the fusion cannon, which unfortunately there's like this part of the tank thing that folds inside it, but it doesn't like completely disappear.
Right.
So it's a little annoying. So it makes the cannon extremely long when you add this upgrade kit to it. And then there's a couple other things that add to it that wrap around the legs, but don't wrap around the entire leg. It's like the back and the sides, so it thickens up the legs a little bit. And there's a couple other little aesthetic tweaks to it, which are kind of neat, but they aren't really... I didn't like that upgrade kit as much. The other upgrade kit that I liked, which should be coming, there's the tip of the Megatron gun piece that you know how when you look at Megatron, it's on his back?
Yeah.
So there's that piece that attaches, and then there's pieces that cover the shoulders to fill in, because there's like this, I don't know, it just looks awkward, like Robo-Kibble.
Right.
And you can see the red arms, like there's the little rivet joint that holds the arms into the torso.
Right.
And it just looks awkward and super narrow, so it covers that up too, along with the shoulder piece. So it thickens that up to make Megatron look more beastly on his chest and more filled out, kind of like a masterpiece. And then the leg pieces completely wrap around the treads, and you slide the feet actually in it, so it actually raises them up about an inch taller.
Oh, cool.
And it makes his legs a little fatter. So when you do the slightly different stance, his legs actually, like his feet actually have a lot more posability than they did, because it's a part of this kit.
Right.
Because you slide the old feet into the new leg foot.
Yeah.
So anyways, it brings them up to be almost Masterpiece MPO1 height.
Oh, jeez.
So without this kit, he's shorter than MP10 Prime, but with this kit, he's taller than MP10 Prime. Either way, he's still shorter than MPO1 Prime, but I can deal with that because this is as close to a masterpiece as I'll ever get.
Yeah.
But they still say the MPO1 Optimus Prime is like the best one, and I still have it, so it's awesome. So anyways, I'm going to have it in my cabinet with MPO1 once I get those all put together. So it's going to be awesome.
Cool.
And I'm selling a lot of my old Transformer toys, so if anybody's interested, hit me up. I'm doing it for money purposes, so...
Yeah.
Free the space.
Free the space. That's right.
So yeah, that's part of my geeky obsessions. That's the recent one that's taking claim.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just go through everyday life, really. I'm serious. It's like, there's just so much to consume. And I'm so, like, I don't know, I'm more concentrated on getting stuff done. See, it's so funny. I'm more concentrated in creating and getting stuff done for the podcast stuff than anything else, honestly. So
I think really the only thing left to talk about is like the unfortunate passings of celebrities this week, because it seems like it's been one a day.
Yeah, I think it was within 3 days of each other. Brian Bedford and Brian Bedford and Alan Rickman.
And David Bowie.
Well, yeah, David. See, somebody asked me that this morning. We're recording this Thursday night and a Friday, but it's Thursday morning this week. Somebody said something about David Bowie. I'm like, it didn't affect me as much as it affected the rest of the internet. Like, I know exactly three or four songs that he ever did.
I know him from movies more than his music.
Yeah, I mean,
And I mean, I'm not one of those people that gets like extremely sad when I see that celebrities pass away. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate, but we all have to eventually come to that point.
yeah, but
And I don't see why people cling to them as hard as they do.
well, for me, it depends on who it is. Like, you can't sit here and tell me you didn't get emotionally attached when we found out that Robin Williams died.
I mean, I don't get like choked up or anything, and
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I do think that it's sad and unfortunate because I really did enjoy the work that the guy did.
Yeah. So, Brian Bedford, those that don't know, he
Robin Hood
was the voice of Disney's Robin Hood. And then, what was it? Just today, right before well, not right before, but this morning, the day of recording this, we found out that Alan Rickman passed away. People will know Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber in Die Hard first and foremost, before any of that Harry Plopper bullcrap. You'll also know him as the Sheriff of Nottingham in the Kevin Costner Prince of Thieves movie. He was Metatron in Dogma. He was on Family Guy several times, that kind of thing. But it just kind of the irony that a voice of Robin Hood and that a live action character that played the sheriff died within almost 3 days of each other or a week or so of each other. It's like, wow, that's just really, really creepy.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh God!
I don't know. Just too much going on this week.
All I can think of is Hans Bobby. Oh God, friggin' Ellis. That guy. Oh God.
What was it you said? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Oh boy, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I think
Yeah, I think that was pretty well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there anything that you guys had geeky obsessions about, or like that you would suggest for a geek desk or whatnot? Just feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you have done something like that, I mean, like display case, like, because the display case thing is new for me. Like I'm totally like excited to put all my junk in there. And I say that lightly because I have a lot of toys that are sitting.
You know who we need to have on once you get that completed, right? Or once you get
Michael Wilson.
We need to get him on here and get him talking to you about the display case thing, because he and one of his uncles or whoever built like these 4 or 5 or he's got a whole in his office. He's got a whole wall of like built shelves that have lighting in them and everything else that holds all his millions of Transformers toys that he has. Oh.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to build a desk first, then I'll worry about that. I think this cabinet's gonna be plenty for me anyway. Right now I don't know what to put in it, but that'll change. I don't even know if I can fit Prime in there. No, I say that like...
Oh my God.
No, I'm saying like I might have to take a shelf out, is what I'm getting at. Because I think the shelves are only tall enough to, and I'll have to do an experiment later, I think it's only tall enough to handle the Combiner Wars Megatron or the that's a really good project I'm going to have to figure out, because I got like G2 Megatron that I'm going to try putting in there too.
You really are turning into Tim the Toolman Taylor. You know that, right? Because
I don't have a choice. Like, I got wires snaked across my room too for like Ethernet and for cable.
Yeah.
In the office, which I gotta. It just so happens that the rail that goes around the room.
Yeah.
Will be perfect because I've got these hooks that I can stick underneath the rail to kind of hold these cords in place once I move the desk.
Right.
So they aren't dangling on the floor like they are right now. And then I got like an open wall patch that I got to fix that I've been meaning to get to, but there was a bookcase in front of it, so I just didn't care. It was out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I got I got a lot of work in this office to do. So, anything you want to promote before we go?
Third annual GCRN Awards. Go submit your write-ins, selectors, all that stuff. The pull bag, we've got had a bit of a mix, or a bit of a change up. I got to do something else for episode 124. We'll do the Power Rangers one later. We got episode 125 coming up, our holiday leftover episode. Then we got a whole bunch of other stuff. Tooncast Beyond. We got Turtles, Ponies, all that good stuff coming up. Inside Out. M-Wire will be coming back soon, hopefully, eventually. We're going to do Terminator next, and then Beverly Hills Cop from recorded a year and a half ago, and then The Hustler also recorded a year and a half ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
We actually recorded those, or did you record them with somebody else?
No, Beverly Hills Cop was me, you, and Dodd, because we never did the... remember the original audio from TFG1 got lost because I screwed it up. I screwed it up.
Well, those were the early days. We didn't know what we were doing.
Let me see if I can find a date here. Properties, M-Wire 125. Thursday, March 19th, 2015. Okay, almost a year ago for M-Wire 125, and then 126 was Dan and I, which is probably January 20. Oh, wow. Oh, that's right. I recorded out of order. Yeah, it's been a year since Dan and I recorded 126, and it's in a couple months it'll be a year since you and I and Dodd recorded 125. But yeah.
That's insane.
We got to get that Terminator episode out so I can get those other two out, and then we can go from there. Yeah, last year was a hellish year. Last year turned into this complete and utter dog shite.
It's a shyster pile.
And 2016 is... You know how you always have that fresh outlook, that optimistic outlook of how the year's going to go, and then just a few things just kind of pile on right at the beginning, and it's like... Okay,
you're like, game over, done.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, it's like I can still try to make this year the best it's possibly going to be. Like I said, potentially I'm going out to California in April, to visit Jen. So we'll see how that goes. So it's one of those things where I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to a bunch of other stuff this year. But and I know I know a lot of us shouldn't let it affect us. A lot of us should have more of your thinking of that the celebrity stuff just doesn't affect you, but just sometimes it does. And, I don't know. It just gets me wondering, who else are we going to lose this year? I know that's kind of horribly bad thinking, but, yeah. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We've got at some point late summer, early fall, you and I are going to debut Podcaster Meets. Well, it's going to debut before then, but the actual first run of the episodes will be summer or late fall with Podcaster Meets World, which is our Boy and Girl Meets World podcast. So we got that going on. We got a bunch of other things coming up. That's pretty much it. And sorry I'm sounding like crap right now, folks. My allergies have been acting up for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, mine do that a lot.
Yeah.
As for myself, I have. I'm getting ready to relaunch my YouTube videos of Altered Geek.
You should put your shelf building on there.
I'm gonna have to take pictures in some of the office of what I have and what I intend to do, and hopefully, along with my BS schematic and. I've been redoing all my YouTube title cards, partially because I like graphic design, so that's just one of those things that I do because I'm like, I got nothing better to do. Let's do this, and then I start playing around with graphics, and then something comes out, and I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he likes graphic design until I bombard him with a million images.
And then I'm like, go away. I like it when it's for me and I just do it because I feel like when it becomes work, it's not fun. So I've designed basically the YouTube channel is going to be like a six different facets essentially. There's 6 different shows that are going to be on it besides the Fit Ready Go that we're doing right now. Which, side note on that, we haven't been doing a few of them because either A, Mary doesn't feel like doing it, or because like the major reason why we had them all done that quickly in a row was because I was like, gotta go record, and she's like, I don't want to record, because she's like tired. And then some of the nights we had left over, so there really wasn't a point doing them.
But we're
tonight,
still doing the overall plan, though, right?
What's that?
We're still doing the overall meal.
Oh no, the overall plan's still ongoing. Yeah. It's just we haven't been doing the videos to recap what we ate every night.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm going to do like GCRN related stuff, Altered Geek, SCP-21 Studios, which is like anything that has to do with like filmmaking or my school. All Things Transformers, Altered Generations, which is my novel, and then like my impressions. So I've got all these different title cards that I put together, and each one shares a similar aesthetic overall. And then they have like the title and the background changes and certain images change in the center, but most of it's the same, like the outline. But I'm really pleased with how they came out. Because I was like, I really need to design something that's uniform and that looks, kind of halfway decent between all of them.
Yeah.
And in the way that these all came out, I'm like, I really like this. And I mixed like 8 different title cards I made for YouTube stuff over the last 3 years. Including the impressions one I did for that Brizzy Voices contest a little bit back. And between all of them, I came up with this master one, and I'm like, I really like this. And I'm just hoping I don't change my mind. Because like I do that often. Where I'm like, oh, I like this, until the next idea comes, and I'm like, I don't like that anymore. Which happens quite a bit in my
basically, you're saying every time you want a new site design.
Well, it's similar to that, but at least this is graphics. It's not anything big. I'm one of those people that like I design something until I get a new something new I want to mess around with, and then it doesn't work anymore. So, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. We should be having a guest on next week.
Yep.
So that's a little teaser for that. So stay tuned for that. And other than that, this week just have more Altered Geek stuff coming, and the awards are going on. And then after the awards, we're going to be doing the GCRN Wars tournament. And I don't remember if I gave what it's going to be.
I don't think so. Not yet.
That's my role, I'm going to say. It's going to be 90s villains. So I'm saying it. So there. It'll be fun anyways. It's going to be a 32 character bracket. So look forward to that. Anyhow, that's till next time. Get Altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.